mentre Dora viene qui, I would like just to jump a second on this, because the question on ownership. The question on ownership was the last one of my list of questions. I decided on purpose to skip it because it is no, but that's perfect that you raise it, because it's a fundamental one. Is it a commons also, and how far is it a matter of ownership, and who is the owner? Is it the private ownership, social ownership, community ownership? This is a key issue which would have kind of ate the whole debate probably, but that's very good that has been raised. Sorry.
Okay, what I was thinking is that it would be interesting to try to introduce some new aspects on the discussion, because the title of the seminar is Production and Common, and there is a thing that I suppose that we are all familiar with, that is peer-to-peer modes of production, which are fundamental for the discussion of a new mode of production. And here I just want to mention that, at least as I understood it, the commons were through all the history of humanity. At some point we have a re-emerge of the discussion on commons. The way in terms of political economy that I have understood what happened is that at some point we passed to a model of political economy that is mainly based on what we call intense knowledge model. So, since if we see the GDP in countries like the United States or in Western countries, a big percentage, a huge percentage of it is based on knowledge, high-skilled knowledge, innovation, and technology. So the claim that we had during the last decade, it was that since knowledge is one of the fundamental bases that are producing economic value, we can claim that knowledge should be open to all, and not be under patents and under copyright laws and this kind of things. And the claim is that if we treat knowledge and high technology and new innovation as a common, it is possible to give equal opportunities to people and also to produce much more value. Because if you have open design communities and if you have open knowledge accessible to all, then you have a community that is multiplying the result, instead of having it closed and under a patent and only possible to access by some multinational corporation, etc. So, by that, we have a re-emergence of the discussion on commons, and this made a good link with natural resources that are also under attack during the last period. Okay, and this is a claim that I just want to put into the discussion, the fact of knowledge, the fact of peer-to-peer modes of production, and of the discussion about digital common goods, and how this can make a link to natural common goods that are discussing up to now. Another example that I want to bring to the discussion is, okay, on this framework that I am discussing on digital common goods, open knowledge, and patents, there is the Linux. I don't know. Linux is a software that is trying to put out Windows and Microsoft of the game. Linux is really augmenting because it has a community of commoners that are working on it, elaborating on it, and make it much more efficient and accessible. The fact that several corporations are using Linux means that it is efficient. It is also efficient in terms of security. I mean, in Greece, I know that the Ministry of Defense, the army sector, are using Linux in terms of security. The fact that it works makes it very vulnerable for enclosure from the capitalist and the multinational corporation sector. So what they did, the Free Software Foundation, is that they created a license, the GPL license. GPL license is using the traditional framework that private sector is using in order to patent and preserve a knowledge that is produced in private logic, and it is doing it in order to preserve something that it is common. So in that way, the multinational corporation cannot take this software and make a profit of it. Why I'm referring to that? In order to stress the thing that there are cases that we need the legal framework in order to preserve and to protect the production of commoners from the attack of the private sectors and from the capital. Another argument that just passed from my mind, and I will close with that, is that, again, how is state coming into the discussion? I mean, the people that are working in VME, I suppose that they need to have pensions. They need to have social security. They are workers. Who will guarantee these rights for them? Whereas the people that are working for the social health center, and they are giving their soul and their surplus of time and of willing a good care for the other people, maybe they don't want to have social security and pension, and because they are not there in the role of workers. So we can use this division in order to understand when we demand the contribution of state, when we need legal frameworks, when they are not so necessary, and where they are absolutely necessary. Thank you.